Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? My name is TJ Jones, and yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And first off, I want to apologize for me doing a Derek Jackson edition of the State of the Saints podcast. Some of y'all might get that joke. But I'm actually in Myrtle Beach right now for the Myrtle Beach Jazz Festival. I'm about to get out and take part in that. But I did want to give my final thoughts on the Saints game on Thursday. Didn't get a chance to do it yesterday. Of course, the Jazz Festival kicked off yesterday. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. I mean, we all are kind of upset still at the performance of the New Orleans Saints and the disappointment of this season so far. I wish that I can tell you that I see an end in sight, but I don't. I don't see an end in sight. Right now, the Saints have a very incompetent coaching staff. And right now, to me, they have a quarterback that has not figured it out. And I went back and I watched the game on last night after I got home from the festival. And I got to tell you, I think the Saints may have made a mistake at the quarterback position. And I said this on the last episode. Like, I was one of those people that was lobbying for Derek Carr. I was one of those people that thought that you had something there. I'm not going to sit up here and say that, since the beginning, I thought it was a mistake. But based on what I've seen watching that game, based on the energy that team plays with when he is the quarterback of that team, based on the fact of his body language, the way that he's pouting like a petulant child, I just feel like as a leader of the offense, being a quarterback, it is your responsibility to keep the morale high. And no matter what's going on, you want to encourage those guys. I also was very, very alarmed at some of the things that I saw. And it's almost to a point where I can kind of understand why Chris Olave has been acting the way that he has. I mean, I don't condone quitting on plays. I just don't. I don't condone that. If you're a football player, you're a professional, you make millions of dollars, no matter what's going on, you want to be a professional about this. And I understand there's the human aspect of I'm doing everything that I can. I'm winning my matchups. I'm still not getting the ball. But at the same time, man, like there are certain things that you have to do, and there's a certain level of character that you have to have. And like I said, I can understand it. I mean, there was several plays where Chris Olave won his matchup. Derek Carr just didn't pull the trigger. There were guys that were wide open. Derek Carr didn't pull the trigger. I mean, it was embarrassing for a guy to be in the league that long and can't get the ball to the playmakers. And it kind of makes you understand why the Raiders decided to move on from Derek Carr. I mean, it makes perfect sense. And you see Raider fans that have been following the team their entire life talking about, now y'all see what we saw all these years. And now it's starting to make sense. Look, Derek Carr is having a tough outing right now. I don't see how you can actually fix this. I mean, this is a guy who's been in the league for a decade. I mean, it's not like we're talking about C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young or something like that. Like, you can get maybe a coach or maybe some players and they'll play better. But this is a guy who's been in the league for a long time. And it also makes me ask the question, what the hell was being seen in practice? Like, because you got to think about this. The Saints have one of the top defenses in football. They got one of the best defenses in the game. So you had to be seeing some of these things that we're seeing in games, in practice. But we didn't really hear that much. I mean, we heard like a lot of positive things. Oh, man, things are happening. Guys are making plays. But I'm just wondering, like, you had to see this. Like, it's not like you're going up against top 5, top 10 defenses every single week, but you have one that you go up against every single week in practice. So you had to see some of these mistakes. And I'm just wondering, like, did people turn their heads? Were plays being made? And also, it just makes you wonder, like, how bad is Jameis Winston? Like, or how bad is some of these other quarterbacks? Like, I don't think they're that bad, right? I just don't understand it. Like, but at the end of the day, they got to play better. I mean, you still got an opportunity to win the NFC South. You still have an opportunity to actually get into the playoffs. But the way that the Saints are with this whole mixed bag thing, I don't see that happening because they're going to continuously shoot themselves in the foot. It kind of reminds me of when I was growing up in the 90s, watching the New Orleans Saints games and just watching them stumble all over themselves and just continuously make these mistakes to put themselves in certain situations to lose week after week after week. I am completely like, I'm completely like, as far as emotionally, I'm completely out of it when it comes to this team. Like, I'll still watch the team because I love them. I've been loving them since I can remember. I'm still going to support them. But there comes a time where you just have to realize that things aren't just going to go your way. And the Saints can continue to double down on this. I knew there was a press conference with Dennis Allen talking about he hasn't thought about making any changes or anything like that, which I kind of interpret that Mickey Loomis don't want to make any changes. You can continue to do this if you want to. You can continue to try to walk around, try not to hurt people's feelings, but you're going to find yourself on the outside looking in. And I don't think that there's an excuse that the Saints organization can give to the masses to be able to keep this coaching staff around after 2023. Like, I just can't. Like, you had one of the easiest schedules, according to schedule makers, and you are sitting here a game under 500. Like, if that doesn't tell you that this team is completely inept when it comes to the coaching staff, when that tells you that the coaches are not putting these guys in place, and I don't mean by just making plays. I'm talking about as far as these decisions being made, because you can no longer just use the excuse, oh, guys are hurt. Well, Michael Thomas is here, Chris Olave is here, Alvin Kamara is here. You have a plethora of talented football players, and right now you're not utilizing them the way they should be utilized in order for them to be effective. And not to mention, you have a quarterback, to me, who is seeing ghosts. And it just seems also to me that you have a quarterback that isn't emotionally tough. Like, you can talk about him playing through injuries. I'm not talking about that, but emotionally tough. I feel like he worries way too much about what people think about him. You can hear it in a press conference when he was talking. He brought up the boos. Like, who cares? You're a professional, right? Go out there and play better, and then you won't hear the boos. As you can see, when they started to drive and they started to use tempo and they started to make plays, the crowd got back into it. So if you go out there and make plays, you won't have to hear about the crowd booing you. It is your responsibility as a quarterback to set the tone. So I just feel like this is going to be a continuation of things, and then on top of that, when Chris Olave, instead of him going to the outside, he went to the inside on that deep route, him telling him to run and him just getting all upset and yelling on the sidelines and stuff like that. Like, that ain't the energy that you need. So to me, I don't see any end in sight. But all in all, you still got opportunities. You got a long stretch here before you play another game on Sunday or next Sunday versus the Indianapolis Colts. So if you go out there and win that game, which you should, but there was a few more games that the Saints should have won. But if you get an opportunity to win that game, everything is still in front of you. You still got a division that's not very good, and teams are still trying to figure it out. But all in all, I'm very, very disappointed in the New Orleans Saints. The fact that we're in this position right now, you're not going to get a better circumstance than what you're in right now. And what they're doing as a staff, organization, and crew is still not good enough. How many times do you have to fall flat on your face before you realize that you made a mistake? And regardless if you want to go out here and say, oh, I made a mistake or not, everybody can see it. Everybody can see it. You're not fooling anybody. There's incompetence everywhere. So as a longtime Saints fan, as a supporter of the team, as a person that covers and analyzes the team, we got to do better. The Saints have got to do better. Like, it's no ifs, ands, or maybes. They have got to do better. You got to do better. Like, this is not it. Because you look at the Falcons, you look at the Bucks, you look at the Panthers, a lot of the struggles that they have is because they have young talent. Those young players are going to get better, and the Saints are going to find themselves like really in the basement. So you can double down on the nonsense, or in this case, triple down on the nonsense all you want to. But the only thing that is going to happen is you're going to find yourself picking in the top 5 constantly. And just like some of these other organizations that have been around, like, when John Elway retired, when Dan Marino retired, when some of these great quarterbacks retired, they are still trying to find that next guy. That is where you're going to be. But all in all, got another opportunity once again. But thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Appreciate y'all checking out this video. Subscribe to the channel, like and share. And thank you all for your support. The State of the Saints podcast every single week, man. This is absolutely crazy. Every single week, we break live stream records. The Thursday night game, we broke the record that was held last week and the week before that. So thank y'all so much, man. Anybody that knows me knows I'm just a guy from New Orleans, born and raised in the 9th Ward, man. About as New Orleans as a bus ticket and hot sauces on French. Love my New Orleans Saints, and I love you all for supporting me. And thank you all so much, because you could choose so many other content creators to check out, but you all have been supporting me, and I appreciate that. And shouts out to everybody that has been supporting since day one, day 1001. Thank y'all so much. Much love to you. Till next time. All I got to say is, who dat?